Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. The invitations were in a shoebox behind a tangle of scarves she never wore. Thick paper, silver foil, embossed names like a small-town gala trying to look big. One card had my name. The other had hers. Same address, same dress code, same intimate home gathering. I hadn't heard a word. I brought one to the kitchen. She was dressed too polished for errands. Heels that don't like grocery store floors. Blazer that says, "Catch me under good lighting." Mail for me. I held up the card. She drew a smile like she'd practiced in a mirror. Oh, that. It's nothing. Couple people from work. You'd hate it. Funny. It looks like I'm invited. It's a courtesy thing. They print pairs for everyone. Don't take it literally. She slid past me to the sink, straightening a dish towel that didn't need straightening. You going? Probably dropping in, saying hi. Networking. I won't be late. The towel became perfectly symmetrical. You don't have to stress about it. I don't, I said. Go. Her eyes flashed, irritation tucked under that trained smile. She pecked my cheek like you tap a microwave button and grabbed her tote. If I'd known where that quiet go was headed, I'd have bought a better pen for the paperwork. I set the invitation down and opened my laptop. I'm a real estate analyst. I live in spreadsheets and public records. People post more than they should. The host had a public event thread. Curated photos of candles and charcuterie, flawless kitchen island, faces tagged. I scrolled the guest list. There he was, Colin Pierce. Once upon a time, Jenna's story about him was a cautionary tale, the man of my mistakes. Curious to get an invite with my name on it, and then hear you'd hate it. I didn't text her. I didn't argue. I waited. Night lifted off the city like a lid. Around 10, I drove to the address. Modern box, black siding, glass panels catching reflections from patio lights. Cars lined the curb. Laughter floated over the fence. I parked a block away and walked past like a neighbor with a dog I didn't own. Through a narrow gap in the fence, I had a clean angle on the patio. She was there, relaxed in a way I hadn't seen at home in months. That loosened laugh, hand on her wrist that wasn't hers to adjust. She brushed a fingertip against the edge of a man's jacket, smoothing nothing at all. The man, Colin, stepped half a pace back. Polite, distant. He looked bored. I didn't go in. I didn't take pictures. I turned and left. Scene 1 ended with me driving home, the invitation still on the counter where I'd left it. What I'd change next wasn't a speech. It was scheduling. Morning, I made eggs, ate standing up, and went to my office early. I didn't ask how her night was. I didn't do soft landing or hard questions. Silence in a marriage can be a guilt trip or a boundary. Mine was the second. At lunch, I called a name I'd been given months back by a client who liked my head for risk. If your personal life ever needs a contract brain, call Dana Ortiz. Her assistant picked up. Ortiz Law. I'm Mark. I need a pre-split consult. Not a war. A plan. Tomorrow, too, she said. Bring access. We'll make piles. I slept like a man with his shoes lined up. That alone told me how overdue this was. She watched me that night at dinner like she was spotting new paint on a wall. I used the good knife on a steak, did the dishes without announcing them, and sat across from her. You're different, she tried. You've got a secret? I stopped being the only person here without options, I said, folding a towel once and hanging it. That's all. That's cryptic. She tilted her head. Is this about last night? It wasn't a big deal. Then it won't be a big deal that I won't be at things that aren't big deals, I said and let it hang. She measured me. You're being weird. Or just less available. Her lips parted, closed, parted again. Okay, she said, voice softer. I'll skip the next one, if it's important to you. There was the first soft landing. She set a cup of coffee near my laptop later, an apology dressed as caffeine. I took it. I didn't rearrange my week. Next day, Dana's office was small, efficient, no diplomas on the wall, just a framed map of the city. Dana was short, direct, sleeves rolled to the elbows. Her handshake told me she played pickup basketball at some point and still boxed on Saturdays. Tell me the lay of the land, she said as I sat. Money's clean. House in both names. She consults from home. I cover most fixed costs. No kids. Signs of boundary drift. You looking to save it or secure yourself? Secure first. After that, we'll see. Good. Victor, she called, and a guy in his 20s slid in with a legal pad. Victor's going to walk you through our pre-split checklist. You don't fall, you deploy a parachute. Victor grinned. We separate access, map assets, close leaks. We don't make threats, we make folders. Sounds like my day job, I told him. For an hour we identified accounts, autopays, shared cards, her business expenses. He flagged travel charges from her card that ran counter to the stories she told. Not proof of anything, just a pattern. Premium seats, boutique hotels when she said workshop day trip, cash withdrawals that coincided with her girl's lunch. We were building a timeline, not a case. You don't owe me drama, Dana said when we finished. You owe yourself clarity. You act calm, you act once. I walked out lighter. Clarity isn't a feeling, it's an address. At home I move quiet. I iron shirts on Sunday, shave with the razor I ignore when I'm lazy, polish my shoes. I pushed back my return time a notch. I didn't check in. I didn't hover. I answered when she spoke. I didn't fill the air. People think changing a relationship needs fireworks. It needs scheduling and standards. She probed over a salad. Are we okay? We're accurate, I said. I like accurate. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. You're not funny. I'm not trying to audition. She prodded the arugula around. So you just withdraw? That's your fix. I'm choosing where I show up. I took my plate to the sink. Don't worry. I'm not going to be mysterious. I'm just not the only person waiting by the door. She took a breath like she wanted to fight, and then she didn't. I can work with honest, she said. Soft again. It sounded nice. It bought nothing. 2 days later, my phone buzzed at 11 a.m. while I was reviewing absorption rates for a client's apartment project. Going with Colin. He had an extra ticket, just to get out of town for a weekend. Don't be dramatic. A green suitcase went missing from the hall closet. The stupid one she called her escape pod. I called when my meeting ended. She picked up in the elevator. The echo gave it away. Hey, she said breezy. I'm boarding. Can we not do a whole thing? You made a plan, I replied. Enjoy it. Mark, it's not like that. He had a spare. I'm emotionally suffocating here lately. You've kind of disappeared. I need air. Don't take it personally. You chose the person and the timing. That's personal. You're being old-fashioned. I'm being literal. Can you stop with this tone? It's a weekend, she said, a brittle laugh. I'll be back. Maybe we can talk like normal humans. We can talk like normal humans now, I said. Here's me being normal. Enjoy your trip. No check-ins needed. Silence from her end stretched. You're not going to tell me not to go? She asked. You already went, I said, and hung up. I texted Dana a single line, moving to next step. She replied with a thumbs up and a time for Monday. Then I did something I hadn't done in a year. I invited people over. Nate, college friend who sells bikes and starts conversations with punchlines. Alyssa, colleague with a laugh that scares liars. Brooke, neighbor from 2 floors down, a nurse who jogs at 5 a.m. because she likes empty sidewalks. I told them bring nothing. The apartment is a showroom usually. Her magazines stacked by spine color, candles arranged to look untouched. I cooked actual food. Music at a volume human beings can speak over. People sat on the couch like it was allowed for once. Nate popped a can and glanced around. So the museum got popular tonight. You charging admission? Membership fee is washing your own plate, I said. Alyssa lifted a brow. Where's Jenna? Getting air, I said. We're ventilating here too. Brooke arrived with flowers because she's old school and kind. Your place is spotless. Like surgical. She smirked. You do this or she does? She curates. I rent the set, I said, handing her a plate. We ate. We told stories that weren't curated for social feeds. And my living room felt like a space where the people who live in a city actually live. No one asked about us like they were picking teams. They just existed with me. It was enough. Close to midnight, my phone buzzed again. Video call. Jenna. Patio behind her, city lights, wind through a hotel balcony railing. Hey, she said. Her mascara was perfect. It's late. For both of us, I answered. It's dumb, but I feel weird. Alone. She tilted the camera as if by accident. A second wine glass sat on the small table by the chair. You're not alone, I said. Can we just talk? I don't want to fight. Her tone turned sugar. I miss normal. Here's normal, I said and flipped my camera. The shot caught Nate telling Brooke a story about a customer who wanted a bike because it looked fast standing still. Brooke leaned in, laughing. Without thinking, she kissed my cheek like a sister when you pass the salt. It landed in the frame. Jenna's face tightened. Unbelievable. It's not a show. It's a mirror, I replied. Enjoy your weekend. Mark. I ended the call. Then I put my phone face down and passed Brooke the pepper. Monday, I was back in Dana's office. You look rested, she said. Sleep is cheaper than therapy, I said. Victor had a neat stack waiting. Access separated. Subscriptions wait. We have a draft for voluntary dissolution if you want to file first. No kids. No support if the financials line up and the conduct is a pattern, not a one-off. We recommend pictures of statements, not screenshots from social. Facts, not feelings. Dana tapped a page. I don't need her demonized. I need a narrative that shows decisions and consequences. Your job is to keep your voice even. No surprise confrontations. We let the paper talk. I'm good at paper, I said. That's why you'll be fine, she answered. One more thing, don't gloat. People like her need oxygen. You give them silence and a folder. I left with a folder and a simple plan. I started coming home a little later, carrying nothing dramatic, just my gym bag. I set clear lines on the calendar. I put an auto transfer into a separate account for my share of household costs and left hers to her. I locked down my credit. I updated passwords like a boring adult. No speeches. She came back Wednesday night with the green suitcase and eyes that wanted me to fill silence. Hey, she said, wheeling it in. I brought pastries from that bakery near the hotel. She set a box on the island like it could erase a flight manifest. Thoughtful, I said, not moving. So, how was your weekend? She asked it like a test everyone fails. Alive, I said. Good. She opened the fridge for no reason, closed it. We okay? We're accurate, I repeated. You? It wasn't what you think, she tried. We didn't. You don't owe me that play, I cut in. You made a plan that didn't include me. That's the whole story. You pushed me away. The box lid snapped. You disappeared emotionally. I stopped being the only person auditioning. She measured the room. I can make it up to you, she said. Let's do a trip. Just us. Napa? Or something close. I'll book it. Second soft landing. Now we were negotiating through pastries. I leaned on the island. Rain check, I said. The thing I'm booking doesn't fit a wine weekend. What are you booking? Clarity, I said, and slid the folder from Dana onto the quartz. Papers, tabs, signatures flagged. Voluntary dissolution, property notes, joint accounts lists with my share circled. She stared like the island had cracked. What is this? She asked. What it looks like. I didn't raise my voice. This wasn't take a weekend to think. This was a test. You ran it. You failed it before the suitcase left the closet. That's unfair. Unfair is hiding paired invitations and telling me I'd be bored like I'm an intern. I tapped the top page. This is a boundary, not a punishment. You don't lose your dignity here. You forfeit access. She blinked. Tears threatened, not because she was broken, but because tears changed the conversation. You replaced me in 2 days? She flicked at the air. That woman in the video. Don't talk about Brooke. She's not a prop in your scene, I said. She's a neighbor who eats and laughs like a person. She didn't vanish with a man who used to be your story about what not to do. Colin is a friend, she insisted, voice sharpening. He's a flashlight, I said. You aimed it at yourself to see if you were still interesting. She swallowed. You're being cruel. No, I'm being accurate. I said, steady. You disappeared. You chose him. You broke us. Mark, think about this. She touched the folder and then snatched her hand back like it burned. A divorce? Over a weekend. Over 6 months of one-way decisions. I pushed a pen toward her. I'm not chasing you around a patio with my dignity in my hands. We do this clean. You keep your business. I keep the house. We each keep what we built before we met. I'm not seeking anything from you. You'll regret this, she said. I don't collect regrets. I collect deeds. She stared, then tried a new angle. Let's talk to someone. A counselor. I'll go. I'll do the talking. I'll own my part. Please. There was a version of me from a year ago who would have jumped at that, grateful for the word own. The version in front of her had slept 8 hours Sunday night. I already talked to someone, I said. A grown-up with a checklist. I told you I like accurate. She stood there, chest rising, falling. Then she laughed, a flat sound. You're proud of yourself. I'm done with myself being the only adult in the room. I slid the top page closer. Sign where it's flagged. Or don't. But understand the motion is filed either way. She didn't sign that night. It wasn't about ink. It was about gravity finally showing up. The next weeks were mechanical. Dana filed. Papers served. Her response arrived with predictable edits. We met with Judge Ramirez, a bench I didn't need to admire to respect. No dramatic speeches, no aisle standoffs. Just facts. Ramirez looked like a man who values mornings. No kids. Joint residence. No support requested by petitioner, he noted. We are here to apportion property and confirm consent. Let's keep it efficient. Dana nodded. We have a timeline of financial independence and documented unilateral trips funded outside their shared budget. We're not alleging misconduct. We're establishing pattern. Jenna's counsel tried soft. These were personal wellness trips. There's no allegation of harm. Ramirez glanced over his glasses. The allegation is not harm. It's unilateral decision-making inconsistent with a shared household. Let's stick to the ledger. Victor's folder worked like a metronome. Dates, withdrawals, itinerary overlaps with workshops. The pair of invitations she pretended were courtesy prints. Texts where she wrote to a friend, he won't notice I'm gone. The last one came from a cloud backup I did not hack. Jenna had sent it to someone foolish enough to keep everything. Dana kept it dry. We're not here to fight. We're here to finish. Ramirez made notes. Residence stays with petitioner. Separate accounts stand. No periodic support. Each keeps business assets. Clean break. Jenna whispered to her attorney at that, eyes wide. She looked at me like a person who just remembered where the floor is. Ramirez signed with the efficiency of a man late for lunch. You two can decide to be angry, or you can decide to be adults. Today I saw one adult. Don't test me with future filings. Outside, Dana shook my hand. You did what you said. You acted once. Thanks for the parachute, I said. Victor grinned. You'd be surprised how many people try to flap their arms instead. I've watched enough roofs to know falls don't ask permission, I said. I didn't throw a party. I went home. The house felt different. Not lighter, just honest. I ordered a basic table that didn't match her aesthetic. I ate on it. I worked on it. It held weight like a thing meant to be used. 3 weeks later, I got a text from an unknown number with the kind of ASCII smile face people use when they don't know what to say. It was Colin. Coffee. We met at a bakery that didn't match anyone's feed. He was taller than in the patio pictures, thinner, polite. Appreciate you meeting me, he said. You reached out, I answered. He wrapped his hands around a paper cup. I wanted to say something face to face. I didn't come back to cause a mess. She DM'd me months ago about a work thing. Slid into memories. I kept it high level. That party? She played it like nostalgia. I didn't want to be in the middle of your home. You weren't, I said. You were a streetlight. She stood under it. He nodded, relieved. I didn't respond to the trip thing the way she wanted. It was more choreography than connection. That's why I did the half step back. I'm not this guy anymore. I saw the half step, I said. That's why I went home instead of through a door I didn't need to go through. He looked at me, measuring. You handled it cleaner than I did when I was your age. I'm not your age, I said. But thanks. He smiled. If it helps, she told someone that you wouldn't notice if she left. He winced. I think she believes attention is oxygen. No attention equals no air. I gave her a door that leads outside, I said. Plenty of air out there. We talked a few more minutes. He stood to leave. You'll do fine, he said. You look like a man who likes quiet mornings. I like accurate, I said. Quiet comes with it. Quiet mornings happened. Work went well. A developer who liked what I did on a stalled project offered me a new contract at better money, fewer meetings. I bought a used truck because I missed owning something that could carry lumber. Nate and I rebuilt the wobbly fence around the little back patio of my place. The one she once insisted needed only a photo of a fence. Brooke texted the week I moved some of Jenna's remaining boxes into the storage unit. Want help, she wrote. I said sure. She carried the light ones, and I took the heavy ones, and nobody tried to turn it into a metaphor. We grabbed tacos after, and she talked about a travel nurse program she was applying to. I told her to take the offer that paid slightly less but treated her like a person. She did. We started walking the neighborhood sometimes at night. Nothing theatrical happened. It felt like a life you can live. Alyssa popped by with a houseplant because she likes irony. Try not to kill this one, she said. I kill nothing, I replied, watering it like a man following instructions. Nate brought over a tool he swore would change my life. It didn't. The fence stood anyway. I heard, through a co-worker who knows someone, that Jenna moved into a studio near a social district where you can pay a cover to be seen. Her business post slowed. The strategy sessions became life updates. The green suitcase got a lot of miles. That's all I needed to know. I didn't hate her. I just didn't subscribe. People think the last line in a story like this is a slam. Mine happened the day she came for the last of her things. She stood in the doorway of the apartment she had curated like a magazine and looked at the table I'd bought without asking. It looks practical, she said, like that was dirty. It is, I said, closing the last box. It holds whatever you put on it. She watched me lift the box. Do you ever feel like you overcorrected? I corrected, I said. I didn't swing. I just stopped auditioning. She bit her lip and looked at me like the answer might change if she kept looking. I didn't think you'd really do it. That's the point, I said. You didn't think. Her mouth opened. Closed. I carried the box to the hall. Take care of yourself, Jenna. That's it. No last word, she asked. I set the box down, met her eyes, and gave her the last word she'd get from me. This is the last word, I said, and shut the door gently because banging it would make her feel big. The apartment felt like mine. It didn't feel perfect. That helped. I cooked on a surface that had scratches. I parked a truck that had character. I got up early and liked my coffee black and the light boring. I dated when I felt like being in a room with someone who also had a life. Brooke and I tried dinner one night. It didn't turn into a movie. We laughed anyway, and she flew out for her program, and we kept it friendly. I took a long weekend with Nate to hike a trail neither of us could pronounce. We complained about our knees like men who earned the right. Some mornings I drive past dark glass boxes with perfect patios and imagine the parties. I don't judge them. I just remember the gap in the fence and the man who stepped back half a pace, and I thank whatever part of me chose to walk away and make a plan instead of making a scene. Respect is not an argument. It's an address. I'm moved. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.